If you're watching this video right now, it's probably because you want to start reselling phones and you're wondering how exactly can you bring down such a high price to a decent price when it comes to purchasing a device so that your profit margins aren't looking too bad. And trust me, as a previous phone reseller, I understand the struggle of finding stingy sellers who just don't want to bring their prices down. So in this video, I'm going to break down all the tips and tricks that I use to negotiate and bring prices down to a decent extent so that my profit margins will be looking nice and so that yours could also be looking very nice. Before I even get into any of these tips, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and that you smash that like button because it truly helps me out. First things first, before you even purchase a phone, here's what you got to do before you even do anything. Number one, when you're looking to buy a device from any seller, make sure you're not buying a device from other resellers. There's a lot of people such as on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, which are the two places that I use personally, that are also resellers, and those people are not looking to negotiate with you. Trust me, I know. I'm not going to negotiate with my prices, and chances are they're not going to either. So that's the first step. Look for private sellers. Before you even continue, after you find that person, make sure that they have decent ratings and that they have some type of information confirmed with either Facebook or OfferUp, just to make sure they're actual safe people to meet with. Now that you found the person you're looking to buy a phone from, the first step when it comes to negotiating is showing interest. Me personally, when it comes to showing interest in a product, the first thing I tell a person is, hi, is everything working well with this device? I'm looking to purchase the phone today and I have cash on hand. Once you tell that to anybody, you spark their interest and you have them hooked. And that's always your goal. You always want to make sure that you have this person interested in your conversation the entire time and that you're not slipping their interest. After you show them that you're really serious about buying this device by asking a few questions, now it's time to start negotiating. So the first step when it comes to negotiating with any type of device is making sure that if there is damage, do mention it to the person and show that it is going to be a concern as to whether or not you are willing to pay full price. Always ask the person if the phone has been repaired before. If the phone's been repaired, then that means that the adhesive that was behind the phone screen at one point is no longer there, and that right there is an easy way to bring the price down. What adhesive does pretty much is it kind of blocks out the water that could potentially get into the phone when you drop it inside of, for instance, a pool or inside of a sink, you know, any place that holds a lot of water. When a phone is repaired, that means the adhesive is completely removed, and that right there is a huge factor in whether or not the phone could be functional if it's dropped in water. If you tell this to the person, they obviously see that you know your stuff, and at the same time they see that this does present an issue to whether or not the phone could sell for a full price. That's your first way to bring the phone price down. You always want to make sure that you're bringing up every little technicality that a phone may have because you're a reseller. You want to make sure that you're getting top dollar for your purchase, and at the same time you want to make sure that you're bringing the price down as much as you can because you want to increase your profit margins. Now if the phone has been repaired before, you got to ask them, how's the cosmetic condition like we mentioned earlier? Does the camera work properly? And does the phone have any scratches on the sides or anything that I need to know about? Any type of damage is always an opportunity or a window for you to just leap through and take advantage of, because if there's any damage, the phone is worth less than the person thinks it is. But you would also like some type of accessories. Does the phone come with a box? Does it have a charger? Does it have a few phone cases because I want to switch it up every now and then? If not, those are expenses that you'll have to make. And most likely this person's going to be thinking that you're purchasing the phone for yourself, and they're not going to look at you as a reseller. You always want to make sure that you're showing some type of interest in whether or not this product could be used in a more convenient way for yourself, and if not, that means you have more expenses to make. That's how you bring the price down even more. Now if they don't have the box, then that's not too much of an issue, but it definitely helps when it comes to selling the phone. Another thing to look out for is, does the phone have a charger? In reality, we all need a charger. So if it doesn't have a charger, guess what? You have to buy it. So that right there, another way to bring the price even lower. And if they have phone cases, that's always a plus, but nobody really cares about phone cases if we're being honest. But if you do get some, guess what? You can make more money when it comes to selling the phone. Now, how is the battery capacity on this device looking? If a phone has anything below an 85% battery capacity, that's considered extremely low. So think about it like this. When you charge your phone to 100% and you see the 100% sign pop up on your screen, if the battery capacity is at 85, that really means the phone's at 85%. So if you don't have a phone that's at a really high battery capacity, that means you'll probably have to get it changed in the future, or you'll just have to change it yourself. If the battery capacity is low on any type of device, then that right there is a perfect opportunity for you to tell them that you might have to repair it. Who wants a phone with anything below 85%? It just means it's not going to last you anywhere near as long as you thought, and that right there is probably taking off a whole hour to an hour and a half of usage that you could have had with the phone if the battery capacity was higher. One thing that I always keep in mind when it comes to purchasing a phone is that you're buying a phone from somebody who most likely doesn't even need it anymore. A lot of times this person just bought a new phone, and this right here is probably just their old phone that they're going to use to pay the next 3 months on their phone payment. A lot of the times most people are going to finance their new phone. That's really why they don't mind letting it go for a cheap price. Also, when they know that a new phone is constantly coming out every year, they're also open to the fact that they will have to negotiate because no one's going to pay full price for a phone that came out 5 years ago. Let's be real. For instance, this week right now is like the golden time to just go ahead and purchase new phones and lowball so many people to get your profit margins all the way up here. Because think about it, the iPhone 14 comes out this week if it hasn't come out by the time I upload this video. And that right there is the easiest way to tell people your phone is not worth as much as you thought it was. Whenever something new pops out, the old version of it is always going to be worth less, especially if the old version has any type of damage. And that is like the #1 factor when it comes to negotiating. You always want to keep in mind that when something new comes out, the other thing is not going to have as much value. If you just tell that to the person straight up and tell them, you know, the new iPhone 14 came out, your 13 Pro Max really isn't as expensive as you listed it for, here's my best offer, I have cash on hand, chances are they're going to take you up on it, because I know I would. Whenever the person has a phone for sale before a new device comes out, they're going to be open to taking your offer because in their head, the price for the phone is probably going to drop even lower than the offer that you gave them. So they're going to be open to just scooping that offer up as fast as possible because they don't want to lose money, and at the same time, they don't want to keep an old device in their hands for too long. Now, obviously, after you've done so much negotiating, you're expecting to close the deal off successfully. But like I said, there's always the case where there's a very stingy seller. Now, if that seller is anything like me, then they understand that at the end of the day, a lot of people will message you about your device that you have for sale, but they're gonna leave you on red. Let's be realistic here. How many times have you tried to sell something and you've been messaging somebody and out of nowhere they just ghost you? If this person sees that you're constantly messaging them back, then they're probably not gonna wanna lose you that quickly because they see that you're actually interested in purchasing what they have to offer, and obviously they're gonna be a bit more considerate. Another thing you also wanna keep in mind is that these people are gonna probably just push you to the side if your offer is too low, and if nobody messages them back, they're gonna come running back to you. So don't even stress it. If they tell you they're not willing to budge on the price, just tell them, okay, that's fine, that's all I have, thank you. I can guarantee you that at least 50% of those people after about 5 hours are gonna come back because they were just waiting for a better offer, they couldn't find it, and guess who they're gonna come running back to? When it comes to buying a phone, it's not more so how low can you get the price, but it's really how many factors can you find to give yourself a proper reason to bring the price down on the person. You don't just shoot them with an offer at first. That's the one mistake a lot of people make. You can't jump headfirst in if you see a phone listed for $700 and you just shoot them an offer of $500 because the person sees no reason behind why the price just dropped $200. They just posted it and now you're telling them their phone is not worth that much off the jump. They're not interested, obviously. But if you message them back and forth showing interest and just bring the price down on them based off of the fact that the phone is not worth as much as they thought, then obviously they're going to be more considerate. And like I was saying before, if they don't want to take your offer, you could either tell them that's all you have right now and you're not really looking to purchase anything above that because it's out of your reach, or you could just tell them that's fine, I'll just keep looking. Always shoot for the highest profit margins, obviously, but at the same time, don't be disrespectful when it comes to negotiating. So you don't want to just keep nudging back and forth with somebody you see is extremely firm. If the person is not open to negotiation from the jump, whether you mentioned a few cracks or the fact that it's been repaired, then just go ahead and move on to the next. It's not that serious. There's new listings every day. That means there's new opportunities. Now that you've got all the negotiating tips down, it's time for you to go ahead and message your first seller. Tell them that you have cash on hand and that you're ready to come to them today. That right there is the easiest attention grabber. Next up, ask about the cosmetic condition. Does it have any damage? Has it been repaired? How's the battery capacity looking? Those are easy factors to bring the price down. If anything doesn't feel like it fits your correlation of a good device, lower the price on them. Tell them you need to get it repaired or tell them that you need to buy some accessories. Now, if they're not open to negotiation, obviously you could find somebody else. But if they start to seem a bit more open, find new reasons to bring the price even lower. Do you have to drive a long distance? And if so, that person might be more open to bringing the price down for you. And also, one thing that I need you guys to keep in mind throughout this entire process is to meet up in public places during the daytime. Don't risk going at night. It's always for your own safety, and you want to make sure that you prioritize your safety before anything else. And now that you've been messaging this person long enough, if they show interest, go scoop up that device for a cheap price and make that profit. If they're not interested, just don't show them too much interest. You could obviously find another phone and watch them come right back to you afterwards because they need the money. And also always keep in mind, like I said earlier, that this person does not care about their old device. They're a private seller, they probably got a new phone. So that right there presents you with the opportunity to just shoot them an offer. Chances are if they want to take it, they're going to take it. And the other chances are people are messaging them and leaving them on red. And if you show interest, they're going to take you up on that offer. So make sure if you guys do use these tips, you comment down below telling me how well they worked for you, because personally they have worked for me. And I'm telling you right now, I was able to make around $1,000 within my first 2 weeks phone reselling, and it's worked very, very well. Besides that, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and smash that like button because it truly helps me out and I'd really appreciate it. Besides that, make sure you guys stay tuned for my future videos and I'll see you guys in the next one.
See you, chump.